We're doing these waiver videos every Tuesday. Let's go. What's going on, Couch fam? Welcome to the weekly waiver wire video. We got weekly waivers at every single position, including defenses and kickers to stream. Let's go on to the quarterbacks to add for this week. All right, guys, Jared Goff is actually a legit quarterback. As long as Amon-Ra is healthy and playing, I like Goff. On top of that, it is a good matchup. So Goff is borderline top 10, better than even top 15. He's right around there, top 15, top 10 quarterback. That means he's worth an add, at least as a backup, and definitely a great streaming option this week. I've got him in 2 leagues already. Trevor Lawrence is pretty much becoming a must pick up top 10 quarterback right now. He looks good night and day from last year. He's got a real coach. He didn't have a real coach last year. And this week's sleeper ad of the week is going to be Marcus Mariota. He's been decent so far. Just keep in mind QB 14. That looks pretty good. Could be a little bit misleading. The difference between like QB 14 and QB 22 is very negligible. It's not a big difference. Even with that being said, though, I do expect him to have his biggest game yet. Myles Garrett did suffer a car accident. He seems to be okay. I don't know if he's going to play or not, but if Garrett is out this week, I would boost Mariota even more. He's going to have his best game week 4 against the Browns. That's my prediction. He has a decent floor with those rushing yards, even though he only got 4 rushing yards last week. I think that's going to be more of an anomaly. Home game should be decent. He's got 2 really good weapons, Drake London and Kyle Pitts, not to mention Cordell Patterson, who all of a sudden has become an elite running back. So I love him as a streaming option. This week, Marcus Mariota, our sleeper ad of the week. The other quarterbacks to add are Jacoby Brissett in that same game. Could be a high-scoring game, like a sneaky high-scoring game, Atlanta Falcons versus the Browns. I still believe in Jameis Winston. He's getting made fun of a lot. Not the best quarterback in real life, but I see him as kind of like a poor man's Joe Burrow. As long as he's a gunslinger, as long as he is very realistically could throw over 300 yards any given game, I like that in a quarterback. Now, the reason I have him ranked a little bit low is because Jarvis Landry and Mike Thomas are injured. Both injuries seem to be minor. Nonetheless, this is not a running team. This is not the team last year. This is a team that likes to throw the ball to the wide receivers. And even when Mike Thomas and Jarvis Landry got hurt, Jameis still threw the ball. Some other quarterbacks to add in deeper leagues. Geno Smith has a decent matchup. Baker Mayfield's kind of a low upside quarterback going against the Cardinals. Not a horrible matchup. And if you're in a super flex league or super deep league, Zach Wilson should be coming back within a week or 2. Should be playing over Flacco. And Brian Hoyer is slated to start for the Patriots. Mac Jones probably going to miss several weeks with that high ankle injury. Running backs. A lot of people are going to, this is the section everyone's looking at, who to add, who's the number 1 add. It's a little bit complicated, but I think Jamal Williams is hands down the number 1 player to add. DeAndre Swift will likely be out 2 weeks and then come back after the bye. So he's probably not going to be playing for 3 weeks because the Lions are on bye in 3 weeks. So Jamal Williams, he gets it done. He's really good. The Lions are a decent team. They put up a lot of points. Khalil Herbert, the reason I have him up here so high is not because everyone else who's kind of like, oh, David Montgomery's hurt, so let's put Khalil Herbert as the number 1 waiver pickup this week. That's not it at all. I think David Montgomery is going to miss 0 to 2 weeks. Let's just say maybe he misses 1 week. He might not even miss 1 week. I think Khalil Herbert proved himself. He was an amazing running back week 3. He helped the Bears win. This is similar to like a Tony Pollard situation for the Cowboys. They're going to have to give this man more touches. And even though David Montgomery, it's like a 70-30 split, it's going to be more like a 60-40 or dare I say 50-50 split. That's how good Khalil Herbert is, and that's how much the Bears run the ball. I knew the Bears were going to run the ball this year, but not this much. Man, they really run the ball. So even if Montgomery is playing or when he's back or whatever the case is, Khalil Herbert is still a must add for your bench. Now, hopefully you listened to me before and he's already rostered, but in some leagues he is available on waivers. Alexander Mattison, it's a similar situation. I told everyone to add him. Make sure you have him, especially if you're a Dalvin Cook owner. And now it's rumored that Dalvin Cook is going to suit up week 4, but he's got a pretty serious injury. This is the type of injury that he can go get hurt in the first quarter, re-injure it, and boom, you're going to really be sorry you didn't have Alexander Mattison already. Don't know if it's necessarily worth wasting a waiver claim on him, but should have already been rostered. And then we have the usual suspects here. Brian Robinson should be coming back really soon. The Washington Commanders could use a running back. Jaylen Warren, pretty much a must-add with Najee Harris's decline in every aspect, including snaps. Or at least it'll be a good handcuff for Najee Harris. Rex Burkhead, kind of a low upside running back. Jerick McKinnon, the number 2 back for the Chiefs. Samaje Perine has locked that role in for being the number 2 RB for the Bengals. We see Perine getting virtually no snaps at all. Jordan Mason, he got like 1 carry. And Sony Michel seems to be the RB2 for the Chiefs. Okay, wide receivers, lots of quantity and a decent amount of quality. I think these top 4 wide receivers are pretty much must-adds, and Russell Gage, at least more temporarily or as a rental, is kind of a must-add. So really try to get these top 4 options. Romeo Doubs should be rostered in every single league. Isaiah McKenzie, Josh Palmer, Jalen Guyton is injured. The Chargers are actually dealing with a lot of injuries everywhere. So Josh Palmer is pretty much a must-add. Greg Dortch, look, Rondale Moore will be coming back in a week or 2, but A.J. Green just got hurt. I'd imagine they keep using Dortch at least to some extent, even when Hopkins does come back. But as of now, at the very least, he's a good rental. At the very best, he's going to stay a low-end wide receiver too throughout the fantasy season. Also, don't forget, injuries do happen. Like, it's not a guarantee that all these Cardinals receivers are going to come back and stay healthy and not get suspended. At number 5, we got Russell Gage. Number 6, George Pickens gets more targets, showed off his talent. Maybe the Steelers switch quarterbacks. I know they said they will not, but coaches have said things and done different things in the past. It has happened. Zay Jones, number 2 wide receiver for the Jaguars, number 2 in targets for that team, and it's not really close. He is locked into being that number 2 option in the pass game, and the Jaguars don't suck anymore. Kadarius Toney, I love this guy. He could have been the sleeper out of the week because it's very bold. They don't have any more options now. Sterling Shepard, torn ACL, done for the season. Kenny Golladay, he might as well be done for the season. He's done nothing, completely gave up on football after he signed that contract. He's irrelevant. So all they really got is Richie James and Saquon and a couple tight. Like they don't have any options to throw to. As soon as Kadarius Toney is healthy, I should have noted on this list that he is injured at the moment. They pretty much have to use him at wide receiver. There's just no other options here. Wan'Dale Robinson maybe when he comes back. With Kadarius Toney, a good stash, a good speculative ad. I love these type of ads where you know you're not really starting him, or hopefully you're not this week. But once bye weeks start hitting, which they will, bye weeks are coming. On the next video, we'll be going over bye weeks. They're coming. And if Kadarius Toney's a real wide receiver on that team, be like, oh, thankfully I have him. Christian Watson, pretty much a stash, similar to Kadarius Toney. Michael Gallup should be coming back. And this is really deep league stuff because you don't want to start Gallup for the next 2-3 weeks. You want to. He's going to be ramping up, and he's barely going to start playing now. Richie James at 11. This is, I guess, the Giants' #1 wide receiver at the moment. And in deeper leagues, we got Noah Brown. I don't like this pickup, but I did want to add him here. He's a little bit overrated. Like, Tolbert starting to play some snaps. Schultz will be coming back. And Michael Gallup is coming back. James Washington will probably come back in a few weeks. So Noah Brown, I don't think is going to be relevant for the long term. Don't blame you if you need a 1-week rental. Rondell Moore should be coming back within 1 or 2 weeks. Week 4, week 5, he should be ready. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name, but Ben Skowronek, the second-year wide receiver for the Rams. I mean, I see him doing more stuff than Allen Robinson. He seems to be moving around. He's playing fullback. He's getting targets. He's not dropping the ball as much as he was last year. And Mac Hollins is somehow better than Hunter Renfrow. That is crazy. That's the Raiders wide receiver. I know Renfrow was out, but it's not like he was doing great while he was in. Not a lot of tight ends. Hopefully you made your move at tight end. You drafted a good one or you did something, because it's slim pickings now. And I think Tyler Conklin might have been the tight end to add. I had him my #1 tight end last week. I had him as a sleeper ad of the week. Hey, I may have even been slightly late to the party, but because his name is so unsexy, dude, nobody added this guy in almost any of my leagues. Nobody bidded on this player. I added him for $0. I made a bid in the Throne League for my squad. I mean, I just got this guy for free, and this dude's a top 5 tight end, top 3 tight end, technically. It's crazy. #4 in targets, tied with Travis Kelce at the position. A must add. I don't know how he's still available, only owned in like a third of leagues. After that, it's, do whatever you want here. Should we could probably put this here. Let's switch. You know what? It really doesn't matter, right? We're trying to predict tight end. Would you be surprised if Njoku got 1 catch for 6 yards next week? I wouldn't. Right, so it really doesn't matter. After Tyler Conklin, I like the next 2 guys, and then there's another tier off after those 2, Njoku and Tunyon. Jelani Woods, speculative ad. He is a rookie, but when I see rookies pop like this, he really helped the team win. He looks good. There's just not a huge separation in snaps and targets. Seems to be kind of like a 3-headed tight end monster here between Mo Alley Cox and Kyle Granson and Jelani Woods. But let's see. Like I said, he is a rookie. He's trending up, and those are some pretty good indicators. Maybe he'll earn some more snaps and targets. Like, hey, man, this guy's pretty good. These are the same indications I saw with Romeo Doubs, right? I'm like, they're saying, oh, he doesn't have a lot of snaps. And I'm like, he looks like the best receiver on the team, right? I guess maybe Aaron Jones, arguably, the running back. And so we're seeing the same thing here. We know that the Colts don't have a ton of depth as far as receivers. Paris Campbell's not too relevant in real life or fantasy. Paris Campbell, what's his name? Doolin. These guys are all right, but it's really Michael Pittman and then not a lot there. This is a team that traditionally has had some relevancy at tight end. It's a little frustrating for fantasy because it's usually been 2 tight ends that have been good for the Colts, like the past decade. And if you're in super deep league, maybe Cameron Brate, but you got to be pretty freaking desperate here in tight end. For defenses, I really hope you can get one of these top 4 defenses. These should be really really good defenses here. That's going to be the Packers. They're going to be the #1 defense this week. Giants D or Bears D, they're playing each other. It's going to be a field goal poop fest. It's going to be a lot of poops and farts, and it's going to be a stinky, low-scoring game. Could be, sorry for the burps, could be a super, like the lowest scoring game of the week. Steelers D, that could be ranked #2 there as well, going against the Jets. A lot of weird things could happen for the Jets offense. Could be a low-scoring game as well. So I like these 4. I wish TJ Watt was playing because Steelers D could be #1 or #2 defense. And by the way, if you don't remember, Mac Jones is looking like he's out. So Packers D is really good. Patriots won't score many points this week. And if you can't get those top 4, I'm just going to read off the rest. We got the Colts D, Vikings, Cowboys, Browns. Keep tabs on Myles Garrett if you're interested in starting the Browns D. Chargers D, Texans offense doesn't score a lot of points. Eagles D, Lions D, Cardinals, Dolphins, Commanders, Panthers, Saints, Raiders, Jets. As far as kickers, hopefully you can get Younghoe Koo at #1, if not Cade York #2. These two teams play each other. Sneaky high-scoring game. Lots of field goals are likely to be kicked here. If you can't get those two, look for Suckup, Mason Crosby, Harrison Butker. Not the best matchup or anything, but they cut their other kicker, Matt Amendola. That shows me that Harrison Butker is healthy, ready to return. He's the type of top 6, top 7 kicker that I can start every single week regardless who they're playing. So look to add him. Chris Boswell should be solid this week against the Jets. And really, it's those top 6. After that, it's wishy-washy, a little bit hard to predict. But we do have Brandon McManus going against the Raiders, Eagles kicker Jake Elliott, Cowboys kicker Brett Maher, and Dustin Hopkins. You really don't want to add this guy. He's been disappointing. But, I mean, I did want to give an exhaustive list because that's what we do here. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Subscribe to our second YouTube channel, Fantasy Couch Podcast. Go get that win this week. I read every single YouTube comment, so drop a comment below, and I will make sure to read it and try to respond to it. See you on the next one.